The moment came like a lightning strike in the late afternoon sky of the Talladega Superspeedway, and when the checkered flag flew, it was not just any win, it was a shockwave. Chase Briscoe crossed the finish line first, announcing, "I'm not just here to race, I'm here to conquer." All eyes were on the scoreboard. He had booked his position in the Championship 4 of the NASCAR Cup Series. But it wasn't just the victory that took everyone's breath away, it was also the backstory. Briscoe and crew chief James Small began the season under a shroud of anticipation and suspicion. Yes, the bosses of Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota had invested in them, but the message was clear: now or never. In January, JGR's competition director Chris Gabehart admitted to industry insiders that there were many unknowns and background pressures heading into the year. He added, "Chase came on board, but of equal importance was J.D. Frey coming on as car chief, and Kyle Abrahams replacing an engineer with a ton of tenure, but as a young man aspiring to greatness in this sport. They were the nucleus. Young, hungry, on edge. It was do or die. They had to put up or shut up and get it done," Gabehart said. Small did not shy away from admitting the weight on their shoulders. After years of almost winning races but failing to win, Small stated, "When we have years like last year, so close to winning so many races, but we didn't win any, people have very short memories of the success we had before. I never lost faith in myself or my team. I understood that if we were given this opportunity, it would take some time, but we would be a formidable force." Then triumphant, "Now we're going to Phoenix. I'm grateful that we have the best folks working on our team. We have the best folks back at JGR. It's truly a pleasure to represent them." Briscoe had made an open wager on his career the day he signed. "If I don't go win, I'm never going to get hired again," he told the reporters at the outset of the season. He intended it. He believed that at JGR the expectation was straightforward: win or walk. He said, "Yeah, I definitely believed we were capable of this. It feels wonderful now that it has been completed. I'd be lying if I said I didn't believe we were capable of doing it. And now, 3 victories, 1 shot at the title, a seat with the racing legends." Following the Southern 500, Briscoe admitted, "Seeing the names and faces on the trophy made me feel like I didn't belong there. If you look at the championship one, it's insane to believe that my name could even be somewhat related to those men." This is the kind of moment that kids fantasize about, the kind that defines a career. Briscoe admits, "So yeah, that would be amazing. As a kid, you fantasize of that moment. To be so close now, it would be tragic if things didn't work out, but there's more to life than winning the title." Let's rewind to that moment at Talladega, the final lap, adrenaline, noise, and the season's choke point hanging in the air. Briscoe performed flawlessly. The rankings confirmed his advancement to the finals. He and teammate Denny Hamlin are the only 2 locked into the Championship 4 so far. Briscoe secured the crucial automatic slot. The table beneath this moment was merciless, with spots restricted, math catching up, and competitors sweating. Yes, the rivals. While Briscoe and Hamlin were locked away, the remainder of the field stood on a ledge, looking into an abyss. Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson edged out the cut line by 37 and 38 points, respectively. The other drivers, including William Byron, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and Chase Elliott, faced a must-win scenario. Bell's voice dropped into a nervous chuckle. "It's deja vu, buddy." The reference was sharp. He had previously been eliminated from the Final 4 due to a contentious tiebreaker. His mindset: presume someone below you will win next week, and then fight to outscore them. He said, "You have to go in there assuming one of them will win the race. They're all really talented there and have excellent teams. Kyle or I could win. I expect a playoff driver to win the race, and Larson and I to compete for the final position." And Gabehart? He was well familiar with the stakes. "Well, it's a lot of stress for sure." He cited their spring performance at Martinsville as evidence of potential, but the fall would be more difficult, the margin thinner, and the risk larger. Larson's fall at Talladega, running out of gasoline on the final lap, left him in worse shape than he expected. He said, "It is unfortunate. I'd prefer have a larger points lead going into next weekend, but we'll recover and concentrate on Martinsville." Meanwhile, in one of the most difficult twists, Byron described his loss. "Those guys were just pushing really hard on the outside lane and just pushed past us. Then, bluntly, looks like we have to win." Logano and Blaney of Team Penske sounded the alarms. Logano admits, "We lost control of the race right away. The car behind me was saving petrol, which didn't assist us and wiped out the entire bottom lane." Martinsville is not a bad track for us. We only have one option at this point, everything or nothing. Stage points will be irrelevant. Nothing else will matter but winning. Blaney said, "Not the finish we wanted. We didn't do what we needed to do, and we didn't obtain the aid we needed. Now we need to go win next week." In essence, as Briscoe achieved his career redemption, the rest of the field became concerned. A spectacular triumph at Talladega altered more than one fate. In the silent garage, as the team celebrated, JGR's owner, Joe Gibbs, laughed at speculation of signing Briscoe to a 10-year contract. He said, "You should not have brought that up. Do not suggest 10-year contracts," but then added with clear confidence, "I believe he can now have anything he wants. I'll put it that way." Small, with a grin, cuts to the chase. You need to keep him on edge. You need to keep him hungry. Briscoe, meantime, was not in the room, but he phoned Coach right away to begin discussions. So, what is the takeaway? Briscoe is no longer racing for his job. He's now racing for glory, history, and the kind of stuff that elevates races to mythology. He is no longer auditioning, but has already arrived. And now, the destination is Phoenix. The goal? Championship. The enemies are wary, bruised, and yet fighting. The stage is set. The drama is intensifying. But let's be honest, this win wasn't simply about redemption. It was a disruption, a smack in the face of the old system. Because while Briscoe basked in the glory of Talladega victory, mayhem erupted across the playoff grid like a fault line. Let us discuss about Kyle Larson. The man was this close, in control, leading the pack in the final overtime restart, and set to join Briscoe and Hamlin. But then, fuel, gone, empty. His automobile sputtered out of the lead and coasted to irrelevance. Larson sank like a stone and finished 26th. He should have been safe. Instead, he's barely clinging on, only 1 point ahead of Christopher Bell. And now, Larson isn't just competing for Phoenix, he's racing for survival. Then there is William Byron, regular season champion, dominant, feared. However, at Talladega, the sport did not spare him. First, Ty Dillon halted in front of him in Vegas. Then on Sunday, Carson Hocevar spun him as he approached the finish line. Back-to-back wrecks, back-to-back heartbreaks. Byron did not hide his pain. We were well linked in turns 1 and 2, and I was clear for a minute until being unable to connect on turn 4. I do not know. We lost control of the bottom lane due to timing issues throughout the pushes. Larson ran out of petrol, which didn't help us. And now, he's 36 points behind the cut line, a canyon, a death sentence, unless he wins in Martinsville. This gets us to Martinsville Speedway, a half-mile of brake-hammering, bumper-slamming, career-defining, soul-breaking asphalt. 4 drivers, Byron, Logano, Blaney, and Elliott, are in must-win mode. Only one may make it. Joey Logano does not pretend otherwise. It is everything or nothing. Stage points will be irrelevant. Nothing else will matter but winning. Ryan Blaney expressed the same desperation. We didn't get the desired finish. Now we need to go win next week. What about Chase Elliott? Who is Hendrick Motorsports' golden boy, fan favorite, and consistent contender? Crashed before the end of the first level. He's behind 62 points. There is no mathematics. There is no rescuing grace. There is only one door at Martinsville, Victory Lane. Back at Joe Gibbs Racing, the smoke has passed, but confetti remains on the tires. Yes, Hamlin and Briscoe are in. But Bell? He has 1 point on Larson, and 4 must-win games looming over him. It's like reliving the same experience. You have to go in there assuming one of them are going to win the race, Bell implied. They're all very good there and have really good teams. And Larson? Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, does not hide their reality. We believe it's not a must-win situation, but we'll go in with that mindset. You'd rather walk in feeling like you have power over your destiny. Because here's the thing, if any of the bottom 4 drivers wins, someone between Bell and Larson is eliminated. It's that simple and cruel. Now take a step back and consider the impact of Briscoe's victory. He did not simply secure his title shot, he took someone else's. That win eliminated one wildcard position. It squeezed the funnel. It transformed a 2-seater scramble into a steel cage death match. And consider what that means for the sport. Just a year ago, Briscoe publicly questioned his own career. He basically told the NASCAR world, if I can't win in a JGR car, don't hire me again. Now, his employer, Joe Gibbs, laughs at the thought of a 10-year contract while simultaneously saying, I believe he can now have anything he wants. I'll put it that way. That's the most thrilling part. Briscoe went from facing unemployment to having the most secure future in the garage. Even his own crew chief understands how quickly things change. You have to keep him on the edge, Small said. You gotta keep him hungry. But let us not kid ourselves that this is not over. Definitely not. Because while Briscoe has a ticket, the big storm is still developing in Martinsville. 4 drivers have everything to lose. 2 celebrities are clinging to the final lifeline, and one last carnage before Phoenix. So, if you're Bell or Larson, would you play defense and hope someone else fails? Or do you go all out, understanding that survival does not come from playing it safe? So what about Briscoe? He has hushed the naysayers by punching through the noise. Is he truly ready to bring home the championship? Will Phoenix be the crash back to Earth? Drop your opinions in the comments because someone's dream will be broken next weekend. And if Talladega taught us anything, nobody is safe.